Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. Don't put your feet up because there's too many townspeople to save. Grab your curved blue lightsaber and prepare to discover if Yaddle speaks like Yoda for the next 50 minutes.
Good intro, pal. It's one of your better ones so far.
Oh, thank you.
So this week we are doing general discussion and ranking of Tales of the Jedi, and super excited to have John Westley of Sense of Shelf podcast with us today. Hi, John.
Hey, guys. And I am super excited to finally be here.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't had you on before, because probably since we first started, you being kind of one of our kind of big supporters, usually see your name pop up on Good Pods, watching our videos, listening to our shows, and like sharing the hell out of all our stuff. So I'm quite surprised we actually not had you on before, but it's really great to finally have you on.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I know we've kind of hinted at it and touched on it before, but here we are.
Yeah,
you've got a really cool name as well. It makes me think of something, but I can't think what it is. Snap Wexley, the pilot from the sequel trilogy.
Oh, okay.
J.J. Abrams' best pal.
Yeah.
Very good. So I'm really glad that John's on, actually, because been listening, like been kind of on and off listening to the show quite a bit, because I must admit I'm not the most avid reader. Actually, I'm a terrible reader.
That should be me that. It should actually be me that's doing that, because I do like reading.
You should be, Colin. You should watch John's show more.
I have before. So, John, Paul always like to tell this story. Paul travels a lot for his work. So Paul's got Paul's got two reasons. He's got dogs that he takes long walks, and he drives long for his job. So Paul has ample time to listen to podcasts.
Nice. Well, in my opinion, you both should be listening, but that's just me.
Yep, I will. You suck, Colin.
I am actually really into my reading right now. I've been reading a few things. So yeah, well, I have listened to it before actually, but it was a wee while ago now.
Yeah, because John, I think when I first started listening, you were doing your, was it Writers at Wartime? It wasn't called that, but it was about writers in wartime.
Right. What was I calling? Oh, the pen made mightier by the sword.
That's correct.
The authors in wartime.
Yeah. It was really interesting. Quite a lot.
That was a fun one to do. It was fun researching a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And then what was it? Banned books. You're doing some banned books as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to extend that one for a while. There's been a lot of decent feedback, and it's subjects that really should be spoken about more.
Yeah, because I've listened to the one that was on. I think I actually spoke to you about it on Twitter, actually, on Mouse.
Yes, with Jay Hall.
Yeah, is his OK book club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was because, like I was saying, I'm not really an avid reader, but I listened to it, and it was like such a kind of harrowing subject. So it was really good to actually listen to it and see people's points of view, because, like me, if I just heard like banned books, this is banned because such and such, I would just kind of take it as face value of like, right, okay, fair enough. But your show was like really good on it, and you could tell you're really passionate about the subject.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that comes across.
Paul, that's understatement of the century, that you're not an avid reader.
I know.
It's okay. I count audiobooks as reading.
Well, we'll need to change our opening segment from what we're watching to what we're reading.
And mine will be The Boy from the Sea, because I've been trying to read it for about 6
months.
I
love that book. I finished it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What are you reading these days, John?
Right now, the only one I'm actively reading is another book for the banned books, and that's All American Boys by, I got it right next to me, Jason Reynolds and Brandon Keeley. That's the next one up to read for the banned books. But I'm doing a lot of graphic novels. I'm using the show as an excuse to get into those, because I never really read them. So I'm in the middle of like 4 different fairly long series, including The Sandman.
Oh, was that the show that was on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've not seen that yet. I don't know. I've just not caught it to see if it catches my eye yet.
I don't know if I can see a different version of Lucifer. You know how much I love Tom Ellis.
It's an interesting interpretation, but it was really good. I did love the show too.
It's Gwendolyn Christie, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
She ate it up though. And I loved the Lucifer show, but she was fantastic.
I will check that out at some point. So Paul, what have you been reading?
The Daily Star, the Daily Sun, the sports pages at the back.
Yes.
I know I'm terrible. Like, see, when I was younger, I used to read novels all the time, but like I was really into like army SAS kind of novels, like Andy McNabb and Chris Ryan. I used to read their books all the time, and then I think I just got dumb and couldn't read anymore.
Well, there's always time to start. A strategy I found is always have a book on your bedside table or your coffee table, and just before you finish a book, line up your next one or order it online. So then it's like a production line, and you don't stop.
It's not a bad idea. I always have one next to the bed and at least one in the backpack I bring to work.
I'm reading. I'm not too far into it, but I'm quite looking forward to it. It's called Beyond the Wand. It's Tom Felton.
Oh yeah, his memoir.
About his like growing up as a child star, but also kind of like balancing that with like the normality in life. And I'm quite excited to get into it. I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of the series too.
Is it Tom Felton? Is that the one that got paid like a ridiculous amount for like half an hour of screen time?
Tom Felton's a national treasure, Paul. It's not for accusations about.
He's the reason.
Any other movies apart from Harry Potter?
Tom Felton just seems like such a great guy. Like if you ever watch any interviews or things he's in as himself.
It's funny how the villains in these things can do that. You see, if you ever see Joffrey from Game of Thrones, he seems really like affable and friendly in real life too.
Jack Gleason.
But you still would think I'm a slap, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so you can't get over that.
I think he's retired. I think he's retired from acting actually.
Yeah, I think he'd be forever typecast as a wee scumbag anyway if he was.
Yes.
He's like Richard Brake.
We're definitely gonna do that. I'd love to. I spoke about. I don't know. Do you read any of the Star Wars books, John?
I have not yet, but I've been seriously contemplating getting them from the library. Getting a couple.
Can I give you one to start with? Because I absolutely love it.
Of course. It's
called Lost Stars.
I'm making a note right now.
And it's like two people, it's a boy and a girl, and they grow up together, and they're best friends, but they kind of become lovers. But what happens is, this isn't spoilers, this is the premise. One of them joins the Empire, and one of them joins the Rebellion, and you witness like big moments in the original trilogy from their point of view, but they're on opposite sides of the war.
That does sound pretty interesting.
I'd love it if they made that into a movie, actually.
And
cool.
And also another book I was reading was Inferno Squad when Battlefront 2 came out, and I got a couple of chapters into that, and it was really good before I forgot about it.
Also, Bloodline, set after Return of the Jedi. It's all about Princess Leia coming to terms with being Darth Vader's daughter. Spoilers.
Wait, she's his daughter?
And the political fallout from that's another really good one.
Yeah, I actually looked at the whole section at the library the last time I was there, because I was overwhelmed at trying. I'm like, I don't know any of the authors, if they'd be separated by authors. But then I was walking by, and my eye just happened to catch the Star Wars font, and they're all on the same shelf, no matter the author. They're all in the same section.
There's a new series set before Phantom Menace. It's the High Republic. I've read a few of them. The very first one's really good. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's really good.
No, I've heard about those ones because I was working at a local bookstore when those ones were coming out.
Yeah, definitely worth checking them out. There's some really good stories. I think instead of shoehorning in what are we watching, I think we stick to what we're reading because it's a nice tie-in with our guest. Paul, what do you think?
Well, yeah. Even though I come across as incredibly stupid, but yes, we shall do that.
That was my intention.
Any reading is good reading.
Right, so Tales of the Jedi. So just a wee discussion that.
Yeah. So kind of before it came out, did either of you kind of read up on it or know what it was about before it came out?
I did not. No, I happened to see a preview at some point within the last few months, probably posted on Twitter by one of the accounts we both follow or by you guys. And that's what got me excited for it. I had no idea about it until recently.
I only really knew that it centered around Ahsoka and Dooku. That was all I really knew going in.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how it was going to go because I went into it kind of blind. I'd seen like screenshots, so I knew like Mace Windu was in it and the young Dooku, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be like too kid friendly orientated because I thought
Definitely
it was going to be like no. I thought that was good. That was the way it was going to be. It was going to be like Six Tales, but like kind of like whimsical things, like nothing really hard hitting. But yeah, I was really quite surprised at where it went.
I thought it was going to be like 6 different Jedi stories instead of the 3 and 3 that we got.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I thought each episode would be a different person.
But doing it this way maybe does give it more longevity because they can have multiple seasons centered around different characters.
Yeah, I had seen, young Dooku in the commercial and Yaddle. Everyone was excited to see Yaddle.
Yeah. I actually went and listened to the Moisture Farm Report because they did an episode on Yaddle and I'd missed it. And I went back and listened to it today after watching the show, and it actually really added a lot of good depth to it because I'd only seen Yaddle as a kind of screenshot in The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And seeing that she's actually like really, really powerful in the Force kind of added a bit more to that episode, which we'll get to.
It was a lot more interesting than I thought it should be because I always remember seeing the image. I think it was maybe like one of the kind of books that came with like the Phantom Menace, and I always remember thinking like they've literally just stuck like hair on top of Yoda, but it was interesting to see that she had quite a lot of depth to her because she actually quit the Order as well, and it's really interesting to find out why she wasn't in Attack of the Clones.
Well, did she quit the Order or did she just leave the Council? I forget what she said in the episode.
I think that was the Council. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I like. She was conflicted, just like most of the characters you see in the show. That's the big thing with Ahsoka and with Dooku, how conflicted they are with everything, and she was sort of bordering on that as well.
Yeah.
Like through these episodes, I was actually starting to feel a bit kind of like a separatist. I thought one of the separatists.
I don't like that Dooku murdered Yaddle, but I can really see why Dooku went the way he went. Like, he always did seem pretty reasonable, like when he was offering Obi-Wan a opportunity in Attack of the Clones, and he's always just quite a classy man.
I love his fighting style. Like he fences with his lightsaber. I think he's got like the classiest stance and style out of any of them.
One of my biggest like excitable moments, and Paul knows I get them watching Star Wars, is seeing his lightsaber still have the curved hilt, but it was blue this time.
See, when I seen that, I thought, yeah, Colin's gonna love that.
I've got a few voice actor facts. I shared one with Paul in the supermarket earlier. It's the guy that voices Cad Bane that voices Dooku.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember his
Cad
name.
Bane. Cad Bane is another favorite character of mine.
And Bryce Dallas Howard voices Yaddle. And the other one, it's Liam Neeson's son that voices him. Qui-Gon,
Oh, okay.
young Qui-Gon.
That's interesting.
Oh, I was going to say it didn't sound like Qui-Gon, and then it was like, oh, it's his son. That's okay.
Yeah. What did you think of young Qui-Gon?
That I didn't care too much for that episode, and I think it might have been because of young Qui-Gon.
Really?
I felt like he looked, I don't know if it was his image or what. I felt like he looked like a cutscene from a PlayStation 2 game, like a caveman in an old video game.
I don't know. I thought it was. I didn't mind it, but it just seemed a bit. His voice seemed a bit off-putting. I didn't think his voice matched with his face.
I liked it, so I'll go against the grain there.
Of course you do.
I was just excited.
I liked every episode, but that was lower on the scale for me.
It was pretty cool that because at first I thought it would just be like Ahsoka 1, 2, 3, Dooku 1, 2, 3, but it's quite interesting the way because it was like 1 Ahsoka, 2 Dooku, 3 Dooku, 2 Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And I think on the whole, what I've heard anyway, the intention was that it was in chronological order for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a bit like what was it? There was something that confused me. I think it was Ahsoka was training in one of them, and like Obi-Wan had his mullet.
Practice makes perfect.
I heard somewhere that was an error, like a continuity error.
Yeah, because I was like, did they not meet first time in the Clone Wars movie, and that's when he had his short hair after the Clone Wars had started? I don't know.
He wouldn't have had them. I don't think he had the mullet in any of the Clone Wars.
No, that's what kind of confused me because I was like, when's this taking place? Did he know Ahsoka before the Clone Wars movie?
But it already seemed well into the Clone Wars that this particular
episode. Armor and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a Clone Wars movie.
What's that?
There's a Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, the very first.
Well, we went to see it at the cinema, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, that was many moons ago.
Yeah, 2008. I actually remember the year. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed at my excitement when in that episode when you see Rex.
Yes. Yeah. Rex is a god tier animated character.
Yeah, I just love the first scene when they're all battling on the bridge. You just get some daft like clone troopers like run out and try and punch some clankers.
I enjoyed. It's just because it's on the TV behind me right now. I enjoyed going back to Naboo and seeing like different aspects of Padme's funeral.
Yeah,
that one.
Then it was, oh, sorry, and you go, John.
No, it's all right. That was one of the top episodes for me, but it took me a second to figure out where she was because he was saying there was nothing you could do for the two of them, and I don't know if maybe I wasn't paying that close attention when I was watching it the first time, but I was so confused the first time I saw that episode.
You obviously just meant Padme and Anakin.
Yeah.
That's a good chance just to talk about, like, obviously Ahsoka and Dooku were the main people. We've also spoken about Qui-Gon, Bail Organa also making I would say a slightly surprising appearance.
Yeah,
they were the big ones, and Mace.
It was cool seeing Mace Windu and Dooku and how that mission ended up with him getting onto the council.
That was a kind of I dig it, Dooku, wasn't it? When he got Mace Windu got the council seat and he didn't.
Yeah, it's when it seems like that's when the scales sort of started to tip a little more.
Yeah, I think that's when he pushed it over the edge. It's like,
Mhm.
nah, that's it, full on sabotage.
There was a real theme in the first two Dooku episodes, just with basically how the Republic are failing like the everyday person, and how people are starting to kind of uprise against it. So I thought it was interesting. There was like a kind of common arc throughout the episodes.
Yeah, but you can see that though, like even like through the Clone Wars, politicians are using their kind of position to make their lives okay and just downtrod everyone else.
I like the senator's son in episode 2, the one who was basically like, "Yeah, I understand why they've kidnapped me. Like, Dad, why have you done this?"
He's like, yeah, I'm a hostage, but I'm still doing better than this whole village.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
I
mean,
re-
what did you make of the?
2 tons to look after me.
Oh, I liked Tuton. What did you make of the? I thought the animation was stunning and like all the episodes. How did you find it?
I think it was great as well. I mean, I love Clone Wars, and I love the art and story to Rebels. Even though I don't like the show as much as Clone Wars, so I really like the animation. Other than my problem with young Qui-Gon.
Paul, have you finished Rebels yet?
If I say yes, will you just stop asking me?
No, because there's some absolutely key moments.
Yeah, there are some fantastic episodes in that show.
Talking about key moments, John Paul didn't, but did you spot a certain young Kanan in episode 5?
I don't believe I did.
See when Ahsoka was getting put through the start of the episode when she was training with the remotes.
Yeah.
Depa Balaba, who was Kanan's master, she was in the Jedi Council, I think, in episode 1. They were watching the training along with like Obi-Wan, etc. And then when Anakin was kind of lecturing Ahsoka about like, I need to challenge you more, Depa Balaba and Kanan were talking in the kind of foyer as well.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch to see that again.
Because obviously we saw young Kanan at the first episode of Bad Batch.
Yes.
So I recognize him like right away because of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch and catch him.
How did you like Bad Batch, John? Just quickly.
So I have another friend, Ben, who he's been on my show and I've been on his. And I was talking to him about it. I said it's a good show. Like, it's entertaining, but it's not a great Star Wars show, in my opinion. I think it's fun to watch. I laugh. I think Wrecker, I think the whole gang is great. But as far as it being a Star Wars show, I'm trying to separate it from that and just enjoy it for the entertainment.
Get rid of Omega and it's good.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know, to me personally, I felt like Omega dictated too much to all these seasoned special forces. They're like, we're going to do this. Like, no, Rika, we need to do this.
I know we're not doing this on camera, but you'll be able to see my crosshair bubblehead.
Yeah, nice.
And to be fair, Crosshair's my favourite because he's just
good soldiers follow orders.
Yeah. Who's your favourite Bad Batch, Colin?
My favourite Bad Batch. That's an interesting question. Maybe what's his face? Part Machine Man.
Yeah, I was
Echo. Yeah, I don't know. I would need to think about that more deeply, but yeah, you've got quite a lot of sentimentality from Clone Wars with him.
Yeah, I was gonna choose him as well because you know his whole story from Clone Wars.
We're going off on a tangent, but how good is the Clone Wars arc with the inhibitor chip and the Fies trying to warn everyone?
Oh yeah, I've watched Clone Wars all the way through. I think 3 times by now. It's just so great.
I would love to do a podcast episode ranking like the arcs of the Clone Wars, not the individual episodes, but just like the main arcs.
Yeah, the big multi episode ones.
Sorry, this is usually
Let's
my
make it
job. Usually my job is to stop us going off on tangents, but we did go into a bit of a rabbit hole there.
We've touched a little bit of everything.
Back to
And to
Tales
be
of the
fair,
Jedi.
see when I watched Bad Batch, I think I watched Bad Batch before I watched Clone Wars, and I had no idea who Echo was. I was like, well, he's pretty cool. I wonder why he's like that.
Because they're called like Clone Force 99, which is after the wee old guy from the Clone Wars, isn't it?
Yeah, like the old janitor guy.
Yeah.
This again isn't really relevant to the podcast, but look at my cat right now.
That's how I feel.
Oh, you missed him. He is alive. I checked before I put the laptop on him.
Check his pulse.
He's awake.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to bring it back to Tales of the Jedi, one of my favorite aspects is how it just sort of just brushes up against the major events that we're already familiar with and we've already seen in the other movies and the other shows.
Very good point, Paul. We should hire this guy. Yeah, I like that episode 4 was like right alongside Phantom Menace.
Yes.
And seeing like Qui-Gon's death from the other side was really interesting as well.
The funeral.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that beam of light? Like, I don't know if it's in like comics or anything, but I've never seen a Jedi funeral before, so that was quite interesting. What was going on?
I think there's only been one other, and it was Obi-Wan's fake funeral when remember that amazing arc when he becomes he goes under disguise as a bounty hunter.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the lights. I remember the light coming up from the floor from Clone Wars.
God,
Sorry, I know we've seen it before. I just couldn't remember what.
What was the name of the Jedi that died again? Did any of you catch it?
The Jedi that died?
Yeah, the one they had the funeral for.
I shall just tell you.
I'm attempting to do the same thing.
Well, actually, the synopsis doesn't tell me, so I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. Did you see that twist coming when it was like the kind of team of soldiers that took out the Jedi? I thought it was pretty obvious. I think that was episode 3.
Yeah, choices.
Yeah, the one with Mace Windu.
Yeah, I knew the senator guy was shifty as hell. I didn't know quite it was going to be the guards, because I thought the guards were being like overly helpful. Like, oh yeah, we'll take you out to because he wasn't wanting to, but the guards were like, yeah, we'll take you.
Yeah, I knew something was coming. You could feel the buildup with Dooku monologuing, but I didn't know. I didn't see exactly how that would go.
I was rewatching the start of the Choices episode, thankfully, and there was a line that I just loved. It was Dooku to Mace Windu, and he says, "Your devotion to rules is like part inspiring, part maddening," or something like that.
Yep.
I thought that described Mace Windu perfectly.
Yeah, but he's quite chill in this episode. Like, I don't know. I just expect him to be more brash.
Yeah, he wasn't as I liked the Mace Windu episode a lot, but it definitely wasn't I didn't see the Mace Windu I expected.
Yeah, he was just very like we should follow the rules and let's not do anything bad, and yeah, you did bad, Dooku, I did good, I got promotion. And
yeah.
They always had a lot of respect for each other, though, because remember in Attack of the Clones, he says Dooku couldn't assassinate anyone. It's not his character. So he still had quite a lot of respect for him, even after they left the Order.
Yeah. But see, between this and Attack of the Clones, like in the Clone Wars in the middle, like, I don't know, in the Clone Wars, it just seems like
Clone Wars isn't in the middle, Paul. The Clone Wars is after Attack of the Clones.
Sorry, I mean during the Clone Wars, it just seems like he's very, very cruel. Throughout the Clone Wars,
he's a clear villain throughout Clone Wars.
Yeah, like he's very villainous, whereas it seems like a very big stretch from him changing his ideals to being that bad in the Clone Wars.
It's interesting. I'd never really seen that angle of him being a villain, but I suppose John's watched it multiple times and you watched it more recently than me, so maybe I need to revisit it.
Yeah, well, it's just the way I was thinking. There's only a couple episodes where you think, he sees a bit of humanity in them, whereas most of the time he's choosing the maximum damage kind of choice, and it's usually like kill, just kill these people, kill this, kill that. So I think the corruption went pretty deep with him.
Well, Mace Windu was always meant to be like kind of right in, like, was his fighting style not the one that was like closest to like a dark side fighting style?
Were you thinking I was saying Mace Windu is a villain?
Is that what you said?
No, I was talking about Dooku.
Oh, yeah, no, I was talking about Dooku as well.
Oh, I thought you were both of them. I don't know. I must have just caught the name when you started talking. Oh, obviously I know Dooku is a villain. Right, okay.
I was like, okay, Colin's got a weird interpretation of this whole Star Wars thing, but we'll go with it.
Got a weird interpretation of Palpatine's apprentice.
I must have just caught the name Mace Windu at the start of your monologue and went with it. I mean, I don't think we can have this podcast without discussing two moments. Yaddle's seemingly death, getting back into it, then dying, and Dooku strangling the senator.
Yeah, the Force chokehold there.
Yeah,
that was I didn't expect that, but the thing with Yaddle was a very bold choice. My jaw dropped when that happened. I didn't expect that at all.
What, when they closed the door on her, or when he took it out after?
The afterward, because when the door closed, you guys post that you're gonna have spoilers, right?
Yeah.
When the when the door closes, I was just like, oh, she can, Jedi bounce up to her ship and leave. So then when it continues and what happens, my jaw dropped. I just, for a character we don't know much about and everyone was so excited to see, to then go in that direction that quickly, I was very surprised by that.
I didn't think he was that far gone on the dark side at that point that he would just take her out like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, because like they were literally just walking through the halls not too long ago, chatting away. It's basically your co-worker and like probably your friend that you've had for how many every years you've been there. And
What's
then
your back, Paul?
What's good one?
What's your back?
You wouldn't hurt a fly.
I'm going to drop a door on your head.
Random thought though, how did that door fall? It looks like a gear. How does it fall straight down? I was I was very confused by the design on that.
That's not the kind of thing Paul would notice.
It's Star Wars, man. They've got things with legs instead of wheels. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, I gotta suspend belief.
Did you like the Force tree? I'm sure we've seen that tree before. Was there not an episode of the Clone Wars where Obi-Wan or Yoda imagined like essentially all their Jedi friends dying, and there was a kind of like afterlife-y kind of place where that tree was? I'm sure there was something like that.
Is it not Yoda or something? He has like a vision or something, and like everyone's still alive, and
Qui-Gon's there.
Dooku's still a good guy and stuff. Is that
Yeah,
not?
I think the tree in that episode is in that episode of Clone Wars.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the tree specifically.
By the way,
weird echo.
There's a tree.
It's a Rebels tangent, but Paul, did you ever meet Bendu, the big tree Force thing?
Not personally, no.
In the show?
Not personally.
I'm not gonna lie, Colin. I seen the Inquisitor take a tumble, and then I stopped after that.
You need to get back into it, doesn't he, John?
I would say so. Yeah, like I said before, I didn't like Rebels as much as Clone Wars, but there's so many like singular great episodes and moments in the show, and they're so important to the overall story.
The Darth Maul stuff's amazing.
Plus, I heard Chopper's about a mass murderer, so I really need.
Yeah, I heard that episode of Moisture Farm.
Yeah.
Right. You're up for getting into doing our ranking. We'll just do quite a quick one. And then there might be other things that kind of fall out from the ranking in terms of things we've forgotten.
All right.
Sure. How you want to do it? You want to just go from like bottom to top, and then John.
Are we going to we'll just do our numbers. We won't go into detail on them, but we could just do our number 6. We'll just go 6 to 1, but not like go into too much depth.
Yeah, okay.
Right, John, it's tradition. The guest goes first. So what was your number 6?
My number 6, and I mean, it's not a surprise with what I've touched on already, but Justice, the first Dooku episode with Qui-Gon.
What?
Yeah. Believe me, my ranking surprised me too.
I went for, I didn't think it was a bad episode, but I just thought it was a wee bit non-eventful at times and a bit of an underwhelming start. It was good in some ways, and I'll talk about it later, but Life and Death, the first episode, was my least favourite.
Interesting. Because that was my number 6 too.
Oh.
Because I thought if this whole series is kind of going to go in this same kind of vein, I was going to be like, oh, this is going to be a long couple of hours.
Yeah. It wasn't quite the first episode I expected, like Ahsoka's birth, and that's why I named myself after her mum. Do you think her mum was mental? Like, see, when that creature was attacking, she just like went into pure animal mode.
Yeah. She should be a Jedi.
I know, I'm surprised she isn't. I like was it her gran, the wee old lady?
She sort of seemed like the village grandmother.
I liked her. She was pretty cool.
She knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Do you not think it was a wee bit of a rehash of like when Grogu first shows his powers against the Mudhorn? Like the way Ahsoka was using powers
on a smaller scale, like she didn't lift them.
It was still pretty cool seeing where Ahsoka was born and seeing like some of the culture and the fact they take like, a wee baby out hunting and stuff.
Yeah.
I can imagine the mortality rate for infants along that bit is quite high.
Yeah. Right. So John, what was your number 5?
So my number 5 was actually Life and Death.
Okay.
I had almost put it as number 6, but then I brought it up a rank just because Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters ever in Star Wars.
Was it just Qui-Gon that brought Justice down for you, or did you not enjoy the episode at all? Because
I just didn't care too much for the whole episode. And I mean, the unfortunate I mean, what happened to the Rhodian? I don't know. I'm trying to word it a certain way, and I don't know why. But the Rhodians just get killed all the time, and there's one prominently killed in this episode. Justice for the Rhodians. But I just didn't care for the episode too much in general.
Fair enough. That's what makes this interesting. So, Paul, wait, did you go? Yeah, Paul went last the last time. So, my number 5 was, I feel like it was maybe the shortest episode, even though it probably wasn't. I liked seeing some of the cameos, and I liked the link into Clone Wars at the end of the episode. But I thought Practice Makes Perfect maybe didn't have as much of a story to it. It was just Ahsoka getting trained for the whole episode. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't think it had as much depth as others.
Well, there's kind of a glitch in the Matrix because I've got the same as you again, Colin. So it was kind of the same vein as you. It just felt like I was watching her cut stun rings in half for most of the episodes. But I bloody loved the end when it's like it ties back into Clone Wars from a different angle.
Yeah.
And was it Jesse? Was Jesse the clone Dark Trooper at the end? Was he? Because there was like, because she gets stunned by Jesse in the training, and he's like, yeah, Jesse gave her a good hit or something. He's like, sorry.
Yeah, I remember
And then
that.
at the end, he's the one with the whole garrison pointing their guns at her. Heartbreaking.
Indeed. So, John, you're number 4.
This is really funny. I think Justice is throwing me off from you guys because my number 4 is Practice Makes Perfect. And like I said, my love for Ahsoka, so I enjoyed that, and the tie-in at the very end. I appreciated the tie-in to the Clone Wars.
Definitely. So that was your number 4. My number 4 was the last Ahsoka one, Resolve. I liked the stuff on Naboo. I liked seeing Bail. I wasn't as bothered about the stuff on like the farm and stuff because I don't think there was like enough time to get to know the characters, and it was like glaringly obvious that someone was going to betray her, and they did. And as Paul said at the start, the sixth brother was I wasn't a big fan of the Inquisitors and the Obi-Wan show, but as good as Ahsoka is, you would expect her to at least you'd expect him to at least put up a bit more of a fight.
Yeah. I feel like we're just totally on the wavelength here, Colin, because I was going to go Resolve as well.
Yeah, my bottom 3 are the Ahsoka episodes, and it's not because I don't like Ahsoka, because I really do. I just absolutely loved all the Dooku content in this show.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about the Ahsoka episode and this one, like the Inquisitor fight, it was kind of reminiscent of Obi-Wan and Darth Maul kind of way. Like it was just a short, sharp, done and dusted. Which I quite liked because like Ahsoka was like one of the best Jedi there was at the time. And the Inquisitor's just, who was he? Nobody knows. And I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. That wee kind of final fight, and just seeing Ahsoka. I don't know, her clothes are weird though. I just find the whole denim look a bit weird.
It was interesting to see how she got back into the fight though. How she went from like not being involved to what we see in Rebels.
Yeah. Was this the one with the funeral as well?
Yeah,
yes.
Padme's funerals at the start.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was quite cool to see like the Imperial grasp on it as well straight away. Like Bail Organa's getting a shakedown from a couple of the Coruscant Guard.
Do you think Bail's a proper underrated character in Star Wars?
I agree.
Ever Eternal.
Doesn't age, yeah. So that was your number 4. So
we're at number 3.
John?
My number 3 was Choices, the Dooku and Mace Windu episode. I'm not even sure why it's ranked so high. I enjoyed it. I love Mace Windu, and I really like Count Dooku. Dooku is one of my favorite villains throughout the canon. I think it was definitely better than the first Dooku episode, and I don't know. I just thought the story was interesting, and the whole monologue building up to what happened to the what's her name, Katri.
Was that her name? Was it
Master Katri? I think
you've definitely looked that up.
Somebody had to.
Interesting. Well, our third is the same. Choices was my lowest ranked of the Dooku episodes, but again, not because I didn't like it. I don't think I disliked any of these episodes, I wouldn't say. I really did enjoy the kind of buddy cop with Mace Windu and Dooku, and just the continuation of that arc about the people getting let down. And I just felt there was a lot of like cloak and daggers in this show. There was always something going on, and you couldn't really trust any of the new characters. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. What about you, Paul?
I'm the same as you guys. All the choices, I win choices.
Are we 4 for 4?
Yeah, 4 for 4. I don't like this. I'm going to change mine up. Whatever you say next.
So
I
yes,
also, I think I looked this up. Are you guys familiar with the actor Theo Rossi? He was in Sons of Anarchy. He was in which Marvel show was he in? He was in one of the Marvel shows, maybe Luke Cage. I think he did the voice of the Senator in this episode.
nice.
Let's see if the voice matches.
I started watching Sons of Anarchy at one point. I watched like maybe 7 episodes or something, but I didn't quite stick with it.
Once you see he's been in a million things.
Is he? Have you seen Army of the Dead?
I haven't. No.
No. Don't waste your time on it. It's, who did that one? Was it Zack Snyder? God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was in Army of the Dead. Yeah, he was in Luke Cage. Yeah, that's the actor who did the Senator.
Interesting. I would never have thought that of him.
I'm sitting here trying to work out what John's second choice is. I think is it Resolve?
My second choice was Resolve.
There you go.
I can't get over my love for Ahsoka. It was nice. It was interesting to see the funeral from the other point of view, and like you said, the farm stuff is it doesn't really matter too much, but seeing her use her powers and kind of slowly get back into the fight, and just reuniting with Bail Organa at the very end, and officially joining. It was a pretty momentous episode to me, and I really like that one.
I know she's a Jedi and all that, but it really annoyed me how quickly she forgave the rat.
Yeah.
Like she didn't even hesitate to forgive him.
Yeah. I was more thinking it was a bit risky for Bail Organa to come himself and pick them up, especially when there's been an Inquisitor known to be, no, not known to be in the area, but they sent an Inquisitor there, and then he publicly shows up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that was probably more for the effect of seeing them two together than any sort of logical reason.
Yeah. How good's that moment?
Stickler for the logic, John.
How good's that moment in Rebels though when you find out that Ahsoka is Fulcrum?
Yeah, that was spoiler, Paul.
Paul's never going to watch. Well, Paul, he's already watched some of it, so.
I'm only kidding. I knew she was Fulcrum.
Paul probably doesn't even know what Fulcrum is. Anyway, to upset John, my number 2 is Justice, and I really did enjoy seeing young Qui-Gon, and the scene where Dooku starts unleashing the dark side and the Force choking, and I really liked the whole finding out about the little guy and how the different ideologies on display in this episode. So I did enjoy choices, but I don't know, just that bit with Dooku Force choking and seeing the curved blue lightsaber for the first time, I thought they were real standout moments.
Right. So would you go there, Justice?
Well, you can't just swap it because you decided.
No, it's not good.
I think we should all have the same number 1 because the one I've not mentioned is awesome.
Okay, so my number 2. Is that we're on number 2? Yeah.
Yep.
It was Justice. Yes, that's right, Justice. I actually just quite liked the kind of tone of the whole episode, just because it was so grey and bleak, and you could see the droids were just all run down. The people were just downtrodden. And in the tavern, when they're talking about the kidnappers, and everybody stands up. Mm-hmm. And even though there's a couple of Jedi there, they're not afraid to be like, "Look at us, we need help. This just isn't right." I liked the laser battle at the end. And then when Dooku finally gets that realization that he needs to go above and beyond just to, I don't know, I think it was just because he was annoyed that he was being used as a puppet kind of thing. I really like that. It's just the kind of, that seed was planted, and then it was just him realizing he needs to do more, which I really liked. So that's why I went for Justice at number 2.
Well, I think There's going to be a conspiracy that we've been comparing notes and during our brief meeting in the supermarket.
It's not very often we get the same thing. Usually we're kind of polar opposites, which is surprising.
That's top to bottom, same choices.
Not surprisingly, we've all got the Sith Lord as number one.
Yep.
Why, John? But why?
For me, it was just, like I said, the shock at the choices they made for Yaddle, for bringing that character in. Seeing how Qui-Gon's fate really affected Dooku and kind of set him more like focused on the path he was on. All that together, and Palpatine in the hood, that just always makes me laugh, that all he does is wear a hood and no one knows who he is. I think the whole episode was really good. Seeing Yaddle jump around like Yoda in the prequels with the lightsaber battle, I think it was just it was a great episode. I really liked it.
I think it was building up to it. Like, I think I really enjoyed all the Dooku episodes, and I felt like it was just getting like more intense by the episodes. So there was always going to be like a really good resolution.
And the little quick moment at the beginning with the Camino file and Sifo Dyas.
Yeah. It's always hard to get your mind around that. So Sifo Dyas really did want to create the clones for the Republic, but then Dooku, when he went bad, essentially changed it so that they were for the future Empire.
Yep.
I read the book. There's a book where it's basically Ahsoka. It's Dooku and Asajj Ventress, and it tells like basically Dooku's telling her like the story of his life, and you find out all about his childhood and things like that. And it's called Dooku Jedi Lost, I think it's called.
I've heard of that one.
That's another one that's worth checking out. I read that.
I love Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, I liked when she teamed up with Ahsoka in the Clone Wars.
I just liked her banter with Obi-Wan all the time. It was like,
yeah, their back and forth is always entertaining.
He definitely fancied her.
Oh yeah. What was
it the line like after Ventress? I always expected the dark side to be hot or something like that. There's a line like that. Right, so we'll do what we said we would do before we kicked off tonight. So, John, what two Jedi would you love season 2, which there hopefully will be? Who would you choose? Who would be your front runners?
So, I think who I just mentioned on the Camino file, I'd like to see more Sifo Dyas.
Yes,
and this. This is just something I dream of happening in Star Wars. I want it to be a movie, but I'd be happy with it in a cartoon. I want a rom-com type of thing with Obi-Wan and Duchess Satine. I know Duchess Satine is not Jedi, but with her and Obi-Wan together, I want to see just like a rom-com type of plot with them two. I think it would be very entertaining.
Is Obi-Wan your pick then? For your second Jedi,
as long as it's them two together.
Package deal.
Well, yes. I'm happy to go last. So Obi-Wan and Sifo Dyas, which I was surprised at, but I like it, are off the table. Paul, who are your two picks?
I'm just trying to think of who you're going to say, just so I can mess you up.
I've went into this with no expectations. So.
Right, going to go curveball, Yarl Puth.
Yes. He had a good...
I don't know why. He seems interesting.
He died in... Oh, no. I'm mixing even peeling him up. Yariel Puth's the one with the long neck.
Yes.
On
the council, yeah.
The fuzzy hair. Curly hair.
I think he's got hair. Or does he? Is
Yariel Puth the bald one?
I think so. I think so. Like, he kind of looks Camino-in.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Oppo Rancisis. That's the one that's got the curly hair.
Right, well, you're messing up my pick. Stop it.
Sorry.
So I'd go him. seems quite an interesting character, 4 arms, and I liked him in Robot Chicken when he does these skits in that.
Fun fact: Yariel is in the High Republic books. Him and Yoda are the only two from like Phantom Menace that are like operating Jedi at that time.
Well, I'm sure they've got plenty of tales to tell, so I'll go Yarrow-Poof on 1. And I don't know, I was going to say Kit Fisto, but he's in the Clone Wars quite a lot, isn't he? What was that one that sounded like a mint? Coleman Trebor.
Is that the guy that Jango Fett took out in the Geonosis Arena?
Yep, that one. I'll take him.
The one who got taken out like before everyone else?
Yeah. His Clone Wars was very short.
Yep.
Well, you've not pinched one of the ones I want. I want to see one where it's just Ki-Adi-Mundi and all his wives.
I'll today about that.
Did he not have like loads of wives because his species was like endangered, so like he was allowed to like break the rule?
Yep. Ki-Adi-Mundi was a rider.
That's my first one, Ki-Adi-Mundi. I've always liked him, like ever since like the action figure from Phantom Menace. So I liked him. And who else would I go for? I wouldn't mind seeing the adventures of Ayla Secura on Felucia, because Felucia is a really cool looking planet and it's fun to play on in the games.
Very true. I did enjoy the Battlefront 2 back in the day, running about Felucia.
There you go. Ayla Secura and Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Nice.
Do you know that Ayla Secura and Kit Fisto were a couple? I can't remember where, but they were.
What, in secret or like official?
Secret, I think.
These Jedi aren't the purists they make out to be.
Definitely not.
I mean, we could go on and on for the other ones I'd like to see. If I had to choose one alone, not the Obi-Wan rom-com, I'd probably go Shakti.
Oh, nice. Do you think she'll die again?
What's that?
Will she die again? I think she's died 3 times in different versions of canon. Like,
Well, you'd have to keep it going then. You wouldn't want to break the streak.
Did she not die in a deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith? Did she not die in a Force Unleashed game?
I think so.
And maybe at one other time as well.
Probably.
Oh, a Starkiller arc or a Starkiller show.
What, live action or animated?
Live action.
Sam Upper, yeah, get him on board.
I'm sitting here trying to remember the other ones I'd like to see, and now I'm just going to have to keep going on and on.
Will we revisit this? See, then the announcement for season 2 comes out. We should see if we get any right.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Plo Koon would be good, but I don't know. Sometimes he drones on and on a wee bit. He was a wee bit dull, I thought, in the Clone Wars at times.
I love Plo Koon. He was the only one that actually like gave a toss about the clones, really.
I think he's a good shout because he brought Ahsoka to the Order, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or a show with Pong Krell and just all his atrocities.
Right. Well,
I get so mad at that story arc.
Oh, I know. I was watching it going because I didn't know he was a bad guy at the first, and I was like, his tactics are terrible. And he annoyed me so much. You're right, John.
A good one would be Terra Sanoob.
Oh yeah, is that the one that's in? Is that the librarian?
The old wisecracking guy with the cane. He's training Ahsoka.
He was in Obi-Wan. Like he was one of the ones.
Yeah, he was in the thing, in the coffin or whatever.
Yes.
What about non-Jedi? If you could have like somebody have their own standalone show, like kind of Andor, who would you have?
Hondo.
Nice.
You were very quick off the draw there.
I love Hondo. Anytime he shows up, I love watching it.
Yeah. Oh, there was a fan cast, and I can't remember who it was, and I was like, they'd be perfect for it, but I cannot remember who it was. Oh, that's going to annoy me now forever.
What about Adventures of the Pit Droid that gets sucked into Gasgano's pod racer?
I don't think I'd watch that.
The best one's Gonk Droid, A Star Wars Story.
I'd watch that. I don't know who'd probably be. Don't know. That guy, was it? What was the? Do you remember the old Clone Wars animated show before the Clone Wars? It was like 2000. Was it 2003 or something that came out? Dirge. Was it Dirge? The one that can like regenerate himself and stuff.
Yeah,
And
I know who you mean.
I want to know more.
What about Dengar, a Star Wars story?
Hi, Dengar.
He's
got plenty of books and stuff. He's got loads of books.
He's in some of the novels. Oh, that's another good book series, John. There's a trilogy of the Aftermath trilogy. It's set in the lead up to Episode 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to start them soon.
My laptop's on battery saving mode now, so we should probably finish off before we lose the podcast. So
probably a good idea.
Why don't you plug your laptop in the charger?
I could do that, but then it would ruin me sitting down on the couch.
We're also talking about Star Wars, and there's no logic when it comes to Star Wars.
I know. I will plug it. That's a good idea. I will plug it in though, just in case it actually cuts out. But John, this is a good chance for you to plug your pod.
Well, yes, like it was mentioned, my name is John Westley. I host the Sense of Shelf podcast. I like books. I love reading. I always have. So I tried to find a way to be able to talk about it with wonderful people I don't know, like you guys. So I started it. I just talk about what I've read, what I'm reading, and I've tried to do a couple series with the Pen Made Mightier by the Sword. Those were all about authors' experiences in wartime and how it affected and showed up in their writing. And now I'm focusing on banned books and graphic novels for the most part, but I read a little bit of everything and I like to talk about it. So
awesome. Well, you've been a fantastic guest, John. Really enjoyed having you on.
I appreciate the invite.
No, it's been really good. It's been a long time overdue. Really need to do it again sometime, especially since all the Star Wars content's coming out and stuff. It just be good to get more chats.
Would be a good one to do it for, because it's a similar format. We could do the exact same format, but for Vision Season 2.
That would work. I can't even remember if I watched all of Season 1.
Well, there's an excuse to do it then.
Yeah.
Paul, are you going to plug our podcast?
No.
Right, well, Paul never wants to do it. So we're just two guys who like to talk about movies and TV. We were biting off more than we could chew, so we're just doing one a week now, but we're enjoying the work-life balance. And you can check us out on YouTube, where you would normally see our faces. And you can find us on Anchor, Good Pods, Google Pods, Apple Pods, Amazon Music, Audible. I don't know why we're on so many, because we should probably just be on like one and try and never mind. Sorry. So you'll find us on all those places. This podcast will be coming out on Monday, the 7th of November. I might need Paul to post it though, promote it, because I've got parents' night.
I'm terrible at promoting myself. I'm on all those places as well.
Join the club. We're not very good at it either. So yeah, John, it's been a pleasure. Paul, it's been good to see you. I actually saw you in the flesh today. That was pretty cool.
I know. Well, I live like a minute away.
I know. Me and Paul have this weird thing where we're just used to seeing each other in like a wee box on our screen, and now it's when we see each other in person, it feels weird.
Well, thank you, COVID.
Yeah, true. To be fair, COVID was the only thing that made me watch all the Clone Wars.
Same. I watched Clone Wars and Rebels during lockdown.
I can't even remember what I've watched and read. I was off of work for a few months because of it. And I think I went through like 30 something books in those 2 or 3 months I was off of work.
Jeez,
that would take Paul like 50 years.
Look, you stop bashing my lack of.
You do it to yourself as well.
I know, but I'm allowed to do it. It's me.
All right, I was just having a laugh. Right, it's been great chatting to both of you. Tales of the Jedi was, I didn't really know what my expectations were, to be honest, but it was a great wee show. I really hope there is a season 2, and I'll be interested to see if any of our predictions come true.
Oh, 2 seconds. What would you rate the series? So the season 1 so far out of 10. Anyone can go first.
9.
9. Interesting. How about you,
Yeah,
John?
I'd probably put it up there too. It was really tough to pick like a number 6 for the ranking. So
Yeah.
I'd say easily, and it was 2 great characters in Count Dooku and Ahsoka. So I'd probably go 9 as well.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed them all. Maybe just not the first one as much, but it was still pretty decent. So yeah, I'll probably go 9 as well, just to keep the average up.
I mean, the best moment from the first one is the mom growling at that animal.
Yes. Both have tea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's us. And if you made it to the end of the podcast, thanks for listening. Make sure you follow both of us, and you subscribe to both of us, and you share both of us. And we've got buy me a coffee, so give us some money, please.
You are humble as anything.
Right.
It's like a world crisis, cost of living crisis. Give us your money.
Here's your change. Here's your pocket money. So John, I'll end the recording, but we'll still be here for a wee chat. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.